What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Moose Milk Podcast. This is episode 82. 82. I'm your host, Ryan. This is Finnegan. Waiting for Matt to join us. But I hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody had a great week. It was a busy week. Not a ton to talk about this week. I don't know if Matt had time to watch Handmaid's Tale or not, but we'll definitely talk She-Hulk episode 5. Our thoughts on that with spoilers, and if you watch Handmaid's Tale, we'll get into that with a little bit of spoilers, but if not, I'll just keep my thoughts brief on it. And yeah, that's about it. Should be a kind of shorter episode tonight, because not too much going on. I think we both had pretty busy weeks. But yeah, wearing my Metric hoodie. Got that at the concert. Finally throwing her on, even though it's a little warm out today, but I just wanted to throw it on, see how cozy it was, and it's good. It's good. Matt just joined. And here we go. But there's Matthew. Look at him. Look at him. He looks so good.
Look at his hair.
Yeah, it's mocky, but I like it.
Sorry. It's because I didn't take a shower this morning, and I just let my hair be crazy.
I'm okay with it. Still looks good.
I ultimately don't care, so.
No, why would you?
What up?
I don't know much, you.
You know, I have a bunch of notifications that keep popping up, so I might have to keep doing this. Whoop. Swipe,
I like it.
Swipe.
How was your week?
Hi, Finnegan. Oh, look at how cute he is.
He's chilling.
He's very cute.
He's something.
A little cutie. Big smiles. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'm good. I had a busy week and an annoying week, and but yeah, you know.
Yeah, I had that job interview on Thursday, so.
Oh, you did? How'd that go?
It was nerve-wracking. I mean, for people that don't know, I have like massive anxiety about a lot of things, but especially like anything that's like out of my comfort zone. So going into a job interview is like definitely like a very nerve-wracking experience for me. So yeah, I was pretty sick all week because I just made myself so nervous that I was fucking sick to my stomach. So that was fun. But
I didn't realize that it was this week.
Yeah, it was Thursday. It was fine. I mean, I haven't heard back, so I don't have high hopes. But it was an experience, you know. It was a learning experience.
Are they hiring for one position or multiple positions or what?
4, but I think they interviewed 55 people or something like that. So
yeah. So the thing is, though, is if you interviewed on Thursday, then they probably interviewed all last week, and then it'll take them.
He said they'd get back to us Saturday, so I expected an email today, but there wasn't one. So I don't know if maybe he just didn't get to it or fucking who knows. But, yeah, I don't know.
I wouldn't give up hope yet. I would, you know.
It was interesting. It gave me some different perspectives on things, and realized that I'm vastly underpaid in my current job. So, yeah, we'll just see what happens. But it was interesting. It was a learning experience. I mean, I did some studying and stuff to prepare for it because it was a math test and a mechanics test. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But other than that, I was pretty busy all week for that. So I didn't watch too much this week. I didn't have a lot of time. I didn't sleep very much. And, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, buddy.
Balls too.
Thanks, buddy. You know how I like that.
Ooh, the bubs.
Back to the bubbly.
Is that peach? I'm also drinking peach.
Very nice. Very nice.
But I just finished off an apple.
Yeah, we don't have the apple anymore. It's gone.
Oh, really? It's gone? It's gone.
Yeah, what did you watch this week? Did you get to Handmaid's Tale or no?
Yeah, we watched it tonight, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It was good.
We can cover that too.
What did I watch this week? I didn't watch a lot. We're so close to finishing Stranger Things. I don't think we're going to get to before Kate leaves for the week. So I think we've got like an hour and a half left, and we're going to have to wait for a week to finish it, which sucks.
Okay.
But yeah.
No, you were saying you don't like it as much as season 3?
Yeah, you know, it's not like I don't like it. It's still fine. It just seems like the pieces come together so conveniently, and it's like I get that you have to move the story forward. I get that, but it's just like, yeah, there's just some parts where I'm just like, of course
Yeah,
that's what happens. Like,
sure.
yeah, so it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's okay. It's not like I hate it. It's just I
I
would
think
love. I like season 3 a lot better.
I think season 3, like overall, I think might be like my favorite season. But I also think like season 4 has this like epic feel to it that like I think it's hard to get on a television show. Like I think a lot of shows struggle to feel like that big budget kind of movie kind of thing.
Yeah,
And
true.
I think Stranger Things really pulls that off. Like it feels like
I
a
think
great
they do a
sci-fi
good
movie.
job with it for sure in season 4 so far. Like it's
Yeah,
definitely feels like you used the best word, like more epic. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's a bit more grand than it's been in the past. So
Yeah, that's what I really like about it. I mean, I think the characters are extremely likable on the show, and I think
yeah, I
that
do too.
helps the show along a lot too. Is like there's not really characters that you hate or despise. Like it's all just like really likable, well acted, characters. So I think that really helps. Even when the plot's not like great, I'm like, oh, I can get by it because I like these people. I want to hang out with this cast
Yeah,
more.
yeah,
So
sure. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm liking it so far. It's pretty good. So I'm
good.
yeah, I'll be happy to finish it and it'll be on my plate. And then I think we're gonna watch Sandman, maybe.
Right.
I floated the idea of watching Breaking Bad by Kate, but I didn't get a super warm welcome to that. But maybe once we get through Handmaid's Tale and stuff,
Yeah.
we'll start it up. So,
Oh, you're only
but
like 10 years late on it, so it's fine, man. There's no
hey,
rush on it.
that's right. Yeah, it's there, so I'll get to it when I get to it, I guess.
Yeah,
But
exactly. It's the same with Stranger Things. Like you're past the point where like you don't have to wait.
the hype,
You're
yeah,
gonna wait regardless, so it doesn't really matter. Really.
yeah,
You
exactly.
get to it when you
Um,
get to it. Season
what
six is
else
next.
did I watch this week? I don't really think I got to much more. I watched She-Hulk, and then I'm back to watching all my late night shows because they're back from like their breaks now. So yeah, so I've been catching up on Stephen Colbert and Seth Meyers and
Can't do those
that
shows
was
anymore. It seems
ah
so.
I don't watch like the most of the interviews, but I usually watch like the monologue and the
Yeah,
like there's usually like a like before the names come out, they'll do something else. So I usually watch both those from
yeah.
both
I
of
mean, I
the
used to
shows.
love Letterman. Like I used to watch Letterman like crazy. I was a huge
Did you?
Letterman
I
fan,
was
and
never a Letterman fan. I was never a late night fan in general, actually. Like really until
Craig Ferguson too. Like I love Craig Ferguson. I think it's
did you?
hilarious. So I used to watch that a lot too. But like I don't know, since all the new people came in, I kind of just fell right off. I like Seth Meyers a lot. Like I love the
Yeah, I
money
like
stuff,
Seth Meyers a
but
lot. Yeah.
I'm not a
Myers and
big
Colbert
Colbert
are the
guy.
only
I
ones I
can't
really
stand
watch.
Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah, I'm not really a huge Jimmy Fallon fan. I don't mind Jimmy Kimmel, but
Yeah, Kimmel funny.
really I only watch like regularly like Seth Meyers and Stephen Colbert. Stephen Colbert makes me laugh.
I watched Conan too way back in the day when he was on NBC.
See,
But like,
it's funny because like I love Conan now, but
yeah,
like I love Conan from the podcast. Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like his show never really did a whole lot for me really growing up. But again, though, like I never was a late
yeah.
night guy growing up either. So
I was just a massive Letterman fan. Like I watched Letterman like almost every night for
yeah, see,
20
I don't think I ever watched
decades.
Letterman except when like Blink was on it. I would watch it. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, but I kind of fell off it. I don't really watch network television at all anymore. I just can't do the
Me
commercials
either.
and like fucking just like the scripted like, oh, you're gonna come out and tell us a story, and I already know the story because we talked about it backstage. But here we go, and it's like, it's just really
Yeah.
creepy.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't do anything for me really. So,
Yeah,
and like you said, like I just can't watch TV. Like we
yeah.
don't even have cable anymore. So,
I'm so sick of being advertised to. Like, it's just like I can't take like even YouTube now. Like, fucking 3
yeah,
ads for every fucking video, and it's just like,
I
oh
know
my
it can be
god,
pretty rough.
yeah, it's brutal. So, other than football, I just don't watch network television at all.
All right, didn't football start this week or
Sure did. My team
lost?
tied. Yeah, team, you suck. You pile of shit.
I guess better than losing.
Yeah, we were up 17 points, and then we just stopped playing, and I fucking tied it. It was brutal. I love football, but it is so infuriating some weeks, man. Like, it's just like, what the fuck are we doing out here, man? So, big
Sounds like
game
you need to
tomorrow.
pick better
We'll see.
teams.
But, yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch much either. I started watching Lost. I'm only like 5 or 6 episodes into the first season. I didn't have much time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Fair enough.
Handmaid's Tale, obviously, I picked that up, and then She-Hulk. Still watching a bunch of my reality shows, but like nothing too major this week.
Yeah, that's cool. Is something like hitting a table there or something like that? It sounds like there's like...
This guy,
No, it's not that.
I don't know, keeps dancing on the table.
Whenever you talk, it like kind of goes...
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, Lost is weird, man. It's definitely. I mean, I've rewatched the show I think like 4 times, probably since it aired, and like it's definitely starting to show its age a little bit. Like it was shocking to me where I was just like, oh man, these type of shows don't exist anymore. Like 25 episode seasons and like network like 44 minutes. Like it's just very of the era of the early 2000s. Like you can definitely pick it up, but I still love it. Don't get me wrong, but it's just very of its time.
Yeah, it is weird that you don't really get like super long running seasons anymore.
No,
I guess it's probably just the cost and like because the viewership's probably so low that it doesn't.
Yeah, I think
they can only put so much money towards it, right? Because a lot of that stuff's dictated by advertisers and like.
Oh, totally. I mean,
if no one's watching, then.
First season of Lost, like I think they averaged like 16, 17 million people watching every episode. Like it was massive. And now like a show that does like 4 million an episode is like, whoa, like it's in a completely different time, man. Like even like
we're
the Emmys last week like bombed.
The Emmys last week bombed?
Yeah, like I think it was like with the lowest viewership, like one of the lowest viewerships ever.
Wow.
Yeah, like nobody cares. Nobody watches television anymore. It's just like all streaming. So.
Yep, it's very true.
Yeah,
it's a dying media.
Totally. So
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it'll go back to that because I think people are getting tired of all the different streaming services. So I think maybe network television will pick back up where people are like, "Fuck this! I'll just get a cable package again and drop 17 different streaming services."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, the thing is as these streaming services slowly creep up in price.
Yeah. Well, that too.
And you've got like 4 or 5 of them. Now all of a sudden you're paying more than you were paying for cable.
Oh, totally. Like, between Prime, Disney Plus, and Netflix, like I'm probably already paying like, I mean, I play yearly for Prime and Disney Plus, but like, whatever it averages out to is probably like $50-$60 a month right there. So, yeah.
Because I think we're the same. We have Prime and we have Disney Plus and we have Netflix. And like I have the most expensive Netflix because like I use the account with like multiple people. So
damn, I do that because I want it in 4K and I want multiple people using it. So I don't know. One of these days I'll probably cancel Netflix. It's just getting too expensive.
Yeah, it is crazy. I think my membership is now like $18 a month or $19 a month or something like that. It's very expensive.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to talk about first, She-Hulk or Handmaid's Tale?
We can talk about She-Hulk first, I guess.
All right. Here's my synopsis. I hate this show. It's terrible. I if it wasn't for this podcast, I would not be watching it.
That's fair.
I think it's very weak. I don't find it funny. I really didn't like this episode at all. It wasn't as bad as episode 3, but it was still pretty bad. I don't know. I think it's just a waste of time. I don't think anything's fucking happening worthwhile. I don't really like the characters. I just find it very bland. There's no character development outside of She-Hulk. Like all the side characters, I'm like, I don't know anything about these characters. Most of them I don't even know their names off the top of my head. Like they have
but I still enjoy them.
No defining traits other than their jobs. Like they're not well-built characters where you're like, oh, I really like this character. Like, I don't know anything about them other than they're lawyers or secretaries or whatever. Like, most shows have more character building in the first episode than the show has in 5. I just find it really weak.
That's fair. Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm pretty much 100% opposite of what you're saying. I liked
yeah,
it.
that's fair.
This one, well, it wasn't my favorite episode or anything. This one had me laughing pretty good. There were definitely a few moments where I was getting a good chuckle in. So, but yeah, I like it. I mean, I think the biggest thing is like, this is a great example of the MCU not feeling like the MCU. It's like, it's like you said, like nothing's happening, and it's like, yeah, it's true. There's nothing happening comparatively to like, being a superhero show, but like, it's just basically like a law comedy existing in the MCU,
Yeah,
utilizing MCU characters, but I mean, really, none of it's really relevant to the overall story. And like, it's kind of more that way, right? Like it's not action packed, it's not fighting, it's lawyering, and it's just, so I don't know. There was a lot of parts that I thought were really funny. And I liked her kind of like making fun of herself in court by like interviewing the guys she dated and stuff like that. I thought that was like pretty funny. And
I
yeah,
just
I mean, oh, go ahead.
I I find it. I think it was just my expectations were high for the show. I really like Tatiana Maslany. I really like Hulk, and like I think he's a cool character. So I was like, oh, I probably really like She-Hulk, and my expectation for Miss Marvel were so low that like I really ended up like it just surpassed anything I could have predicted
Of
or
course.
expected.
Yeah, of
And so I
course.
think that's part of the problem with the show for me is like I really set the bar high for the show and it just hasn't met
It's
it, and
not
that's on
delivered.
me. But
It's a
yeah,
good
no,
point though about Miss coming off Miss Marvel being so low, and
yeah,
then yeah, that's a good point.
I think that's part of it. Yeah, like it doesn't tickle my funny bone at all. Like I just don't. It's just not landing at all for me.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I like I love that whole little side gimmick, that side angle of, and again, like I'm with you. Like I don't know her assistant's name. I don't remember the guy who wants the shoes name. I don't remember them, but they both have little bits that make me laugh. And like the whole thing about him wanting to get these shoes, and then being like, "Yeah, man, one to rock, one to stock." I'm just like, "Yeah, that's great." And I love that scene in the credits with him and all his shoes. And there's like so many good little like Easter eggs in that like illustration or whatever. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about? Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so like I saw online and I didn't catch it or whatever. But I guess one of his shoes looked like Deadpool shoes or something, and people were freaking out about it.
Oh, it's not just Deadpool. It's X-Men. Like there's
Oh, okay.
Cyclops references. There's a
I didn't
Wolverine
catch him.
reference. There's like a bunch of different
That's
references.
great. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
So
that's the most exciting part of the show for me is like that, and then at the very end, seeing Deadpool's helmet type thing, or not Deadpool,
Daredevil.
Daredevil's.
Hey, did
Um,
that show up as an after credit for you, or just at the end of the episode?
just the end of the episode, there was no after
Yeah.
credit.
Yeah, I'm wondering why that happened. Weren't they? Didn't they say that this series is the one that has an after credit after every episode?
Yeah, and then I don't know,
One of
like,
the
what
things
if
I
it got
read
cut
said
or
that
what?
one of the ones I read things I read referred to that scene as the after credits, but I'm like, that wasn't the after credits. That was the end of the episode. That's how we ended the episode.
Yeah. Um, I read an article that said there was no after credits. Like this, like it wasn't just like us noticing it. There was an article written about it, but they did say before the season that this was the first show that had an after credit scene for every episode.
Right.
And like, again, they lied, or it was originally planned and then it got cut. I don't know, but
Mm.
um, yeah, I don't really know where the show is going at all. Like, I just doesn't feel like it has any like plot narrative at all. Like, it's just her existing through life, and I'm like, all right, like that's your thing. If you really like these characters, great. But like the whole Titania thing, I'm like, I don't know. She's supposed to be a villain, I guess.
Yeah. I don't get. I mean, I guess I don't know that character in the books enough to know what her deal is. I'm
Yeah,
assuming it's not this, but like, but again, I get what they're doing. They're just taking a character that might have like, 40 fans, and they're like, all right, we can fucking have lots of room to play with this, and it doesn't really matter, right?
yeah.
So I'm
I think
guessing
it.
that's probably, Titania's part, but
Yeah,
I like
but
the
like
idea of her like getting sued or getting, yeah, sued because of using her name or whatever. Like I thought that was a funny little bit, and it's like a funny little way to spend a week trying to like, all right, we got to clear that shit up.
Yeah, didn't
So
land for me.
yeah, that's fair.
I don't know. I think it's a waste of time. Like 5 episodes in, I'm like, you could have ended this show after the first episode and been like, we made a new hero. It's She-Hulk. This is her origin story, and then it just ended. And I've been like, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But again, though, right? You're looking at it in a grand perspective, right?
Oh,
Like you're
for sure.
looking at it as like, okay, but what is this doing for the overall story? And the answer is
Yeah.
nothing. It's really just introducing She-Hulk, and now we're gonna just spend 7 episodes or 8 episodes with She-Hulk, and
Yep.
just like her living life. And it's like there's nothing really that exciting right now. She's not a superhero, really. Like
No.
she's just like a green lawyer, and it's just like, you know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
In that capacity, like, yeah, for sure. And the overarching, if you're only looking to the shows as a way to move the whole overarching narrative forward, then yeah, I can see how this would be a big
Well,
disappointment.
I think that's 33% of the show.
There you
Like,
go.
I
See,
think,
Joe agrees with you. He said it's all filler.
yeah, like I think it's their fault in that regard. Like, they've built this universe to be a universe, so people are expecting that, rightfully so, because almost everything else is tied into it. So
Yeah.
I think
The thing is,
that's
though, is this does tie into it. It just doesn't tie into it in like an action superhero sense.
But like I look at it as this, like, okay, 1/3 of the show probably should be like world building and tying into the overall narrative. I think that's part of it. The other part of it is, do I like these characters? Do I find them compelling? Do I want to watch them? Who do I like out of the show? Not really anybody. I mean, the characters, like, so far the best characters have been Wong and Mark Ruffalo's Hulk. Like, it's 2 characters that are just guest cameos that have nothing to do with the narrative, or nothing to do with the actual show. And then 3, like, am I entertained by the show? Is this action based? Is this compelling to watch, regardless of whether it ties in the narrative or anything? Like, am I interested in the show? And I'm not. So like,
Yeah.
I think it failed on all 3 sides of it. It's not building towards anything. The characters aren't very likable, and there's no action or like overall narrative to the show that I'm like, "Ooh, this is really compelling," and I want to watch regardless of it not, being a part of the universe. Like, it just fails. It doesn't need to exist, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair. Well,
I think
I like it. So
no, and that, like I said, like I'm glad you do. Like, that's great. I hope a lot of people like it and find enjoyment out of it. I don't want anything to be bad. I don't hope that the show's bad. I think I would love if it was good, and I wish it was for me, because more TV and more entertainment is that's my thing.
Better.
I love good television, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just think when you compare this to like shows that I've watched this year, like Severance, for instance, or now watching Handmaid's Tale coming back, like, these shows are stellar dramas that are so well written and so thick with like great character development, and then you compare it to something like this, and the show belongs in like 1997 airing on ABC. Like, it just does.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Speaking of Handmaid's Tale, we should talk about Handmaid's Tale. This will be weird because it doesn't really fall under the usual like narrative of this podcast, really.
No, I mean,
talk about movies as a whole, but I mean, like,
yeah,
usually we cover kind of stuff that's more grounded.
Nerd culture shows compared to like just
exactly
great dramas on television, but so spoilers for season 5 of Handmaid's Tale, and overall spoilers for the show. If you have not kept up with it, like, definitely check out, because we're definitely going to talk about things that will spoil previous seasons.
Yeah, definitely.
I love the show. Like, I think the show is so well acted and so well written that it's like astonishing. Like, it's
really
fucking
good.
phenomenal. Elizabeth Moss is just fucking killing it. Like, just fucking crushing it.
Scary though, dude.
Oh, she's terrifying, and like, that's what I want to get into, is like, you can see how broken she is as a human now. Like, it's like she has like 3 different personalities, where she's like still kind of that scared person that was a part of something fucking terrifying, and then she's got this like badass fucking psychopath that just wants to fucking murder everything, and then she's the mom, the wife that needs to be a part of that family, and she cannot balance those three things. It's impossible for her, and you
We
can
should
see
probably
like
talk about what, because especially because there's a relatively good chance that a better majority of the people who are going to listen to this don't actually know what Handmaid's Tale is.
yeah, I mean we can do that quick. I mean I
I think
think
it's a good idea. It might be
yeah
fresher on your mind than it is on mine, only because you literally just watched it. So
yeah I mean it was last year, but
compared to me,
well, I guess it was earlier this year. I don't know what I don't know. Time's irrelevant. No, Handmaid's Tale. Okay, so for people that don't know, it's basically a dystopian show that um, basically a group of religious cult like uh, group take over the U.S. and basically destroy governments, destroy everything running the U.S. and basically take over the entire country.
so
Um,
basically, it's like what the United States is going to be in like 2 years.
Yeah, terrifyingly so. But you got to remember this happened. I mean, this happened five,
This
six
is
years
set
ago
in,
now. So
and this is set. This is set in present day, and it was
yeah,
written long ago. Like it was
yeah, it's
written by
based off a
Margaret
book.
Atwood.
Um, but it definitely like evolves from the book. Like I guess the book's I've never read the book, but I guess it's a fairly short book, and it's basically like most of season one is the book, and then I guess everything after that has been evolved from there or something like that. Something along
Yeah,
those
I
lines.
think there's. I think it still pulls quite a bit from the book, from what Kate said. My wife is a fan of the book, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, so like basically this Christian like hardcore Christian uprising has taken over the United States. They changed the name of the United States to Gilead. Um,
well,
basically the
United States is still. There's still part of the United States that's the United States, and isn't it happen? It's something to do where like the population, where like people's the birth rates decline, and it's like all of a sudden like a lot of people can't like a lot of women can't give birth, and like yeah,
the problem with the show is basically that women have had extreme difficulty conceiving, and they basically have decided that like they're going to put it in God's hands, and like God is punishing the country for how like fucking far it has strived from the Bible, and basically these religious zealots basically decide that the only way to do this is to take over and make sure that everybody's following like a very strict religious guidelines or whatever. So yeah, the US still exists in like I think just Hawaii and Alaska, and then like the border along Canada is basically like I guess still kind of partly US, but everything else
yeah.
has become Gilead. So
And
yeah,
they have
basically
handmaids. The handmaids are the ones who are like they're the ones who can have kids. So it's like in Gilead, like if you can bear children, like if you're still one of the lucky ones that can, then you become a handmaid, which is essentially someone who is assigned to a household where they have ritualistic sex,
yeah,
basically get raped, and then are forced to carry the baby and then give up the baby to that family, and then they either stay on or whatever. But basically, when they're not basically being used for sex, they're basically treated like they
like,
have to like maids, like they have to like clean the house and whatever, and
they have their own bedroom that they're locked away in.
yeah. And
Um,
they can't read. Women in this timeline, like women like lose their rights, so like they can't read, they're not allowed to read, and if they do, they're like punished by like getting their fingers cut off, and
yeah.
it's pretty
So
crazy. It's pretty fucked up, but it's all, again, it's pretty scary because it's
well,
sadly
and like
true.
it has a lot to do with like the wealthy being in charge, and
Yeah.
a lot of the handmaids are to these like rich elite governors and everything like that. But also on top of that, like um, there's women that are basically called ants that like basically train the handmaids into like obedience and basically like
Yeah.
beat them if they're not obedient. So a main character named Aunt Lydia is basically like our version of that all our main characters kind of fall on under, and she has a side of her that's kind and a little bit like she has moments where you see like she feels bad or guilty about certain things that she's doing, but overall she's going to be extremely obedient to
Yeah.
that culture and that religion. And so yeah, if you do not fall in line, like she will fucking beat you, she will cut your fingers off, she will tie you to a bed, like they will fucking rip out your eyes. Like
There was a
it gets
girl who there's a girl in the girl with the ripped out eye in one season. She like has sex for pleasure or something like that, and they basically like cut off her clit so she like can't enjoy sex anymore, and like
Right.
it's pretty fucked up, man. Like it's
Homosexuality is banned. You cannot
yeah,
have any type of gay relationships. Like it's it's brutal. It's definitely difficult to watch at times.
yeah.
I understand why it's not for everybody totally. Like it's a very dark, very, thick show, but it's very well done, and it's scary how it aligns with current times and current things going on in the
Hmm.
world. Um, but basically, like this season picks up after a huge cliffhanger of last season, where kind of the main villain of the show finally is caught up with and murdered, and brutally murdered. Um,
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. Dude,
yeah,
so
that
fucked up.
dude, like I didn't think they were going to show it. Like I was
Me
like, oh,
either.
they're never going to show this because
They
he's
showed the body afterwards, and you're like, oh, dude,
yeah,
okay,
he's got
fucked
fucking
up.
pieces. Like it looks like he was devoured by zombies almost. Like he's
Yeah,
fucking
like the
destroyed.
whole like rib cage looks like it's like eaten away. It's fucking
Yeah.
nuts.
Um, yeah, like I love these first two episodes. Like it didn't build towards anything like huge. Like it wasn't like fast paced two episodes, but it was definitely like very character building and very like
Hmm.
tense. And just seeing like her around her daughter and everything like that. Like every time she picks up the baby, I'm like scared almost because I'm like I don't know what she's gonna do. Like she's just out of her
Yeah,
mind. And um,
yeah.
yeah, like I know they had to write Emily out of the show, right? Because she didn't want to do this season or whatever. So that's why they said she ran off into Gilead, back to
Oh, I
Gilead.
didn't know that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So
Interesting.
she didn't
So
want
it
to do
makes
this
you
season.
makes me wonder if we'll end up seeing Emily again.
Well, she's not in this season, but I think they basically said next season's supposed to be the last season and that she's welcome
Right.
back if she wants to be a part of it. So
Continue the story. Yeah.
I don't know like how if they're gonna keep talking about her or like if maybe they're gonna try to find her or something and like that's the season arc. I'm not sure, but
They
um,
find her and it's played by somebody different.
that'd be terrible. You can't do that. Um, but yeah, like I think this is building towards her going back to Gilead and leaving
Yeah, I
her
think so
husband
too.
behind. And like every time like any scene takes place there, I'm just like I'm scared, like I'm tense. I
I
hate
know.
it. It makes me feel so like yucky. Like I just ugh, you know.
It's funny because Kate always says, "I wonder if they're gonna how much they're gonna stray from the book," because
Right,
she's read the book and she's read the sequel book, which takes place like 15 years later
right.
and focuses around her daughter,
Hannah.
Hannah, yeah. So yeah, it
Yeah,
should
well,
be. I'm curious to see how this all because like I don't
clearly
know.
they're
She
building
she won't
towards
tell
that,
me.
right? Because they showed Hannah these two
They did.
episodes. Like they're
Yeah.
rubbing that in her face, and you knew that was coming as soon as what's her face, um,
June.
fucking
Oh, Miss Waterford. I can't
yeah,
remember her
what,
first
yeah,
name.
yeah. As soon as she went back to Gilead, I'm like, oh, she's getting the daughter. She's doing something with the daughter.
Yeah. So yeah. Again, it's probably hard for people who haven't seen it and don't haven't seen any of it. But like June, who is Elizabeth Moss's character, she's the one. She basically was a handmaid. She escaped. She had a child, and she had a child while she was a
Pretty,
handmaid.
yeah,
And that one in a few earlier season like basically escaped to Canada. Canada's like the safe, it's like the refuge. It's like to escape from Gilead you go to Canada.
yeah,
So in an earlier episode, like Elizabeth Moss's husband, who is also not in Gilead, he's in Canada, ends up getting sent June's daughter from Gilead, so it's not actually his daughter, but his
yeah,
daughter from with June is in Gilead because what happened is when they formed Gilead, they gave all the children to the in command families and took them away from all the women, and then, like I said, the women who could bear children became basically like slaves, sex slaves, and the ones who couldn't got outlawed to like the wastelands, basically.
yeah. I mean, there's a
So
lot more to the show that like it would take
yeah,
us
there
an
is.
hour
That's
to
we
dive
it would
into.
yeah, exactly. We would have to talk for quite a while about it if to fill everyone in. And honestly, it's pretty there's a lot. There's a lot of
Yeah,
layers over these seasons. This is season 5, but there's like a lot happens over every season, and yeah,
I think
I think. Oh, go
it's
ahead.
interesting what they did with Janine. Like,
Hmm.
I did not expect that after how like last season ended and like everything like that. Like they've always built up her character. I mean, maybe she survives this somehow, but like
Well,
it definitely.
they were kind of insinuating that this was coming in last season, though, right?
Well, they did, but like I definitely didn't. I think I thought it was going to build towards her getting out somehow, or like June
Mm.
finding her again, or something along those lines. Like I definitely didn't think it was going to happen in the first two episodes. Like I thought
Oh, are you
maybe at the
talking
end of the
about
season.
killing her?
Yeah,
Oh, but we don't know for sure that she's dead, right?
we don't, but like I don't know. It definitely. I mean, she's fucking puking up blood and stuff. I mean, it
Yeah,
looked pretty intense.
didn't look good. Not a good sign.
I definitely think the younger girl's dead,
Yeah, maybe.
but
Yeah, I think I always listen to my wife's take on stuff because it's, she's a smart person and she's a good writer, so she's like good with stories and stuff like that. Not that
yeah,
we fall in line on a lot of the stories we like, but
sure.
she really struggled with these two episodes, and she just said she's like this. It's not like there was a purpose in season one and season two and three and less so in four, but like she's like this is basically just like June being depressed and us having to watch her kind of go through it. Like there's no, like we had a story to follow going through those early seasons, and now that she's out, we don't really, right? Like
No, I
there's
totally
still
agree. Like
unleft threads, but like like
you,
the overarching story has completed, and it's like she's like I could tell she wasn't really into these two. So
I understand that from a certain perspective because like you're rooting for June to escape the entire time. That like
yeah,
that's what you're building towards in the first three seasons. I think
yep,
the show would have been better off if it ended probably this season, the next season. Like I think it should have been probably lost a season and been tighter narratively. But I also think like amping up slowly the tension where she's gonna go back to Gilead and just go fucking ape shit. And I think like we're gonna get like just a bloodbath by the end of this season of her just fucking murdering people left and right. Like I think it's gonna be violent. Like I think it's gonna be really good.
I do too. I think it's gonna get pretty dark. I mean, these were pretty dark, but I think it's
Yeah,
gonna get like
yeah.
even that whole thing after like at the beginning of episode one where she was like she's at the diner with those other girls that helped her kill
Yeah,
Waterford or whatever, and she's
yeah.
drinking her juice and she looks down, she's got like she still has blood all over her face
Oh
and on
yeah.
her neck and like under her nails, and it's like she drinks her juice and puts it down and she just sees like bloody fingerprints on the glass from the condensation, and it's like, oh man,
Yeah. But
it's
like that was
pretty
a little
crazy.
bit of the problem I had with it, just for the fact that like she's in Canada and like nobody's picking up like, hey, you're covered in blood, like what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Like the waitress
Because
just
us
like shrugs it
Canadians were
off.
like, oh, she must have fell in the kitchen bad, eh?
Yeah, exactly. Like and then like she admits to murder and they're just like, oh, there's nothing we can do about it. I'm like, nah, I think you could.
Canadians.
Yeah, like I think you could if you wanted to. I understand that she, murdered somebody that was terrible, but it's still fucking
Basically
murder,
took out the
man.
war. Yeah, yeah. I
Um,
mean, I get both sides of that one. Like, I get them not doing anything, but it was just funny because it's like, oh yeah, in Canada, you're good, you're good.
yeah, no, exactly.
Just
Like
plays to the stereotype that us Canadians are so nice.
totally.
You can
What
kill
do you think
someone and they're
about
like, yeah.
what do you think about Serena being pregnant? Do you think she's actually going to have this baby?
Yes, I do. Um, yeah.
I don't know.
I
Like,
think they could go. I think they could go. Yo, Joe 77 says Canada rules. Yeah, you
yeah,
know
buddy.
it. I think it could go a couple ways. I think they could use it as a political, like a statement against abortion, and have something happen where it gets complicated and it could potentially kill her, but they make
That's
her have it
where I feel like
anyways.
it's going.
Yeah, I feel like there's a chance that could be a thing. Um, but
I
yeah,
think
I
I
don't
think
know.
I think that's to me that's where the season ends. Is that Serena has complications from the birth. She can't get an abortion because it's been outlawed.
Yeah,
So
it would
she
play
conceives
pretty
the
heavy
baby.
to what's currently happening right now too, right? So
Yeah, she conceives the baby and dies, and I think June's going to take the baby. But
That would be interesting. I also wondered if she just has the baby and then Gilead takes it from her and then makes her a handmaid, which I also thought
That
would
could
be
be it
pretty
too.
crazy.
That could be it too. Without Fred now, like she's kind of on
Hmm.
her own.
She's just not. She's a second class citizen without having a husband. She's just a
Well,
woman
that and
who's
they know
below.
she can get pregnant now. So
Yeah, exactly. They'll
yeah,
utilize her for. So yeah, I
yeah,
think it's going to go one of those two ways. So
yeah.
either way is still pretty. The thing is with this show is like there's one side of the political party that probably doesn't find this entertaining because they
Oh,
probably
for sure.
look at it as like just basically PC, like political. It's all political, but I mean, really, it's based off of a story that's been around forever and ever. Um,
Well,
but it just
look,
it just so happens that we're also dealing with it in the world right now too, right? So
yeah, but you can politicize anything. Like, look at the boys. The
no, I
boys is
know.
super political. Like,
Yep, totally.
the boys is constantly making fun of the whole Trump reign and the Republican fucking stuff going on in the states. Like,
Remember, it was funny how halfway through the last season, everyone stopped. There was a whole movement on
yeah,
the
on the
on the
right,
Trump side, yeah, and they're basically just saying like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" They just they just realized
this
that
show got
it's
political,
basically
man.
just no. This has been how it has been forever. Like
Yeah, not just the boys, but I mean,
it's
it's
just
the
more
same with
obvious now.
anything. Look at when Rage Against the Machine got back together, and they're like, "Oh, fucking Rage Against the Machine's political now." I'm like, "Motherfucker, what do you
They
think
were
they were
always
singing about?
political. Yeah,
They've been singing about this shit since 1992. They've always been political." Like, yeah, I mean, you could take things a lot of way. It's a piece of fiction. Like,
yeah, yep,
yes, it
totally.
may have ties to what's currently going on in the world, and it's terrible, but
Jojo says kids pulling me to watch Prey now. Peace, y'all. Oh, enjoy it, dude. Prey's great. We never
Prey's
talked
great.
about Prey, really, did we?
No, it was during the break.
It was during the break.
It was great.
I fucking loved Prey. It was great. I
Yeah,
watched it twice.
I've only watched it once, but it was great. It was really well done. Yeah, enjoy it.
Yeah,
It was fantastic.
yeah, very,
Um,
very good.
yeah, no, I mean, the cast is definitely getting weeded down, and I definitely think it's it's building towards a conclusion, obviously, because next season is the last
Yes,
season. But even with like Nick and June and everything, like I think that's got to come to fruition where she's going to leave her husband behind and go with Nick.
me too. Me too.
But I
Well,
don't
at the
know.
end of the day, she's just after experiencing and living through something like that. You could not be the same person. Like
No, no. I mean,
So I get that.
I've said that about relationships forever. Like it just in real life,
Yeah.
if like you get married really young at like 20 or something like that, like you're going to be a dramatically different person by the time you're 35, just from life
Yep.
experience and like living through something like tragic like that. Like, yeah, of course, it's going to change you as a person. Any type of like trauma like that is going to dramatically change your personality and your thoughts on things. And I think her trying to settle down is like her giving her best effort at being like that wife and mom again. But like, I just don't think you can put put it back in the box.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Nahid
Uh,
K37 says hi.
what
Hello.
up? Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked it. I think it was really well done. And do I think it's gone on a little too long? Yeah, for sure. I think it could have been like 3, 4 seasons and been perfect. But
Honestly, I still didn't
funny
mind
thought.
it. I think again, this is one of those shows that like it's always a slow burn. So
Yeah,
like it doesn't really like worry me that like we didn't really get super super far yet because that's just the nature of the show. It is heavily
I
character driven and it's just like it's always a slow burn, right? But it
I'm
usually
not mad
pays
about
off.
the slow
So
burn aspect of it. I'm just saying, like, as far as like the length of the show, like of the seasons,
right.
you could have truncated it a little bit and told like a more cohesive, like
Compact story.
compacted story rather than like
Yeah.
drag. It feels a little dragged out at this point, but
Yeah,
um,
yeah, totally.
I agree with you. The show is a slow burn, and I enjoy it. Like, I think it's so well acted and written that like I don't mind the slowness of it.
Yeah,
It's
me
great.
neither. Yeah, me neither.
Um,
So yeah,
yeah,
I like it so far. It's off to a decent start, and I'm excited to see where we go. And I'll be
I
curious
think
to see where they leave us at the end, because usually they leave us at the end with a little bit of a cliffhanger. So,
totally. I think is it 10 episodes?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
10, yeah.
10? Nice.
So we got that for 8 more weeks till November 9th. And then we got
Cool. Black
Star
Panther?
Wars. Star Wars
Oh,
start
Star
next week.
Wars. Hey,
And
speaking of Star Wars and slow burn, did you see that like the review embargo lifted and people started talking about it? First 4 episodes. That's the
yeah.
seems to be the one common thing is that everyone's saying it's a pretty slow burn. So
Like I said, it can be a slow burn if it's well done.
if
Like
it's
that,
good, yeah,
if it's well acted and well written, and you can see where it's heading, and it is heading towards something, even if it's just slowly heading there, I'm okay with that. But if it's like, hey, we gave you 8 episodes and nothing happened, I'm gonna be disappointed.
yeah. Okay, that's fair.
But I'm excited for it.
I'll,
But
me
I'm way
too.
more
I'm
excited for
excited.
that than fucking She-Hulk next week.
Is Andor starts on? Oh fuck. So
28th
wait,
or
Andor starts on the
Wednesday.
21st. Damn. And 3 episodes. That's a lot.
I don't know how long the episodes are though.
Hmm.
I'll
I'm
look to
making
see
a
if it's.
note.
I'll see if
Watch
the
Andor.
episode length out, but I haven't seen it yet. But I did read the one review that said it was slow building, but I also saw a couple people talking about it on Twitter that said like it's fantastic. So
Oh, okay, cool. That's good. I'm
so I
not
don't
I'm
know.
not that worried about it being bad, especially because I think it's gonna look good because it's all done with practical. It's not done with what's it called? The what do they call that thing? The volume or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
So yeah.
39 minutes, 35 minutes, 40 minutes,
Oh,
47
okay.
minutes.
That's good.
So
That's not bad.
between 30 and 50 minutes, basically.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad you said something because I probably would have forgot that it was on.
So
So
yeah, next
so we'll
next week
have
will be
that,
packed.
and then we might have to maybe hold off on Handmaids for 1 week though, because
Yeah, because
I
Kate's
watch
gone
it
for the
with
week.
Kate and Kate's
Yeah,
gone for the week. So maybe
it's
we
fun.
could just do Andor and She-Hulk next week, and then we'll catch up on
Fun,
Handmaids the week after. Okay, cool.
dude. Don't worry about
Yeah,
it. Just the pod,
girl.
man. No biggie. So yeah, I think that's it for this episode. I don't,
I think that
it's a
is
little
it.
shorter side,
There's what? Sorry.
a little bit on the shorter side, but that's okay.
Yeah, well, there wasn't really a lot happening.
No, no.
The
I mean,
the uh, the Hasbro team showed off their new HasLab, which is like their fan. It's like the crowdfunded kind of stuff.
oh okay.
That's like
Yep.
what the Sentinel was and stuff. And yeah, it's like a Ghost Rider. Like the current Ghost Rider has like a car, so it's like a
Okay.
Ghost Rider car.
Are you
It's
getting
pretty
it?
cool. No, I'm not getting it. It's really expensive in my opinion, and like I don't have the space for a car, and also I'm not like a hardcore Ghost Rider fan. Like I do like Ghost Rider, but if it's not Nick Cage, I'm not interested. No, I'm just kidding. I don't like Nick Cage one. But
Those
yeah,
movies are pretty bad.
it's okay. It's okay. It's just like it looks good, but I don't need it. Like it's not something I need. So
Do you see they're bringing back Keanu Reeves for Constantine?
ooh yeah,
That's dope.
brother, I heard it.
I'm excited for that, man. I like that Constantine movie.
I haven't seen it since like I saw it the first time, but
It's like what 2005 maybe.
it's been a fucking minute for sure.
Yeah, I like that movie a
So
lot. And I'm down. I'm excited. Maybe DP's
nice.
getting the shit together.
Maybe, but I
I
won't put
don't
any
have high
money on
hopes.
that. Yeah,
No,
I won't put any money on that until they actually produce more than two good things.
yeah, no. I'm on the same page with you. I'm on the same page with you. All right. What are you
Okay.
doing on your Whip Wednesday this week?
Ooh, I got a good one this week. This week I'm doing something fun. I'm going to piece together. So in customizing, usually your starting point is what we call kit bashing, which is where you take pieces from different figures and you put them together to kind of make your starting point.
Okay.
And this week I have a list of about 5 characters that I need to kit bash together, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have an overhead camera with all my parts on my table, and we're just going to mix and match and find good things that look good together, and yeah, it should be pretty fun. So I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. So you can definitely go over to at Customs by Matthew's Instagram page and YouTube page and subscribe to see all that wonderful content.
Yeah.
And go over to Moose Milk Media and follow that as well.
Get yourself a big cold glass of moose milk in your mouth.
That every time I think of that fucking scene from the. Oh, I loved it. It was great.
President Elf.
Yeah, I love that you included President Elf on it. Even my post with fucking Homelander licking the milk, it just grosses me out every time. It's the worst scene of that show. It's just so gross. But I think of it every time I say moose milk. That's the scene I think of.
That's so funny.
So yeah, follow Moose Milk Media and definitely go over to your podcast service of choice and subscribe to the audio version of the podcast. That helps us out too. And our art is done by Janie Milne Art. And we will catch you next week, and we'll talk She-Hulk 6 and Andor.
You know something, Mean Gene.
You just lost his bandana, I think. There it is.
Yeah,
beauty, sir. All right, buddy. Have a good night.
All right, man. Have a good one. Talk soon.
Bye, everybody.
Peace.
I can't end this.